What is good, y'all? We're back at it again, man. We're back on these live chats, man. When was the last we did a live chat for 301, right?
Yeah, I think that was like a month ago,
Yeah,
something like that. It might not have been that long, but it was around about that time.
yeah. I feel like it's been a while.
It's been a
But
while.
so we did a few videos. I have one that's gonna come out on the Making the Walk channel probably later on today. And
Mhm.
I know you just posted a couple of videos or a video today, right?
I did, yeah, I did this morning my time. I think it was the Poirier one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So if y'all haven't checked that out, yeah, make sure y'all go do that. But um before we dive into anything or talk about anything, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Share being the most important thing is to share it
sure.
to whomever. So we continue to grow both the channels and what we have coming up soon. We want to make sure that everybody is a part of that as well. So yeah, make sure you're doing that. But kind of diving into it. Well, you know what? Before we get into it, before we even talk about that, I want to talk about. Did you see Dana White's recent like announcement that he threw up today? You haven't seen it yet?
Are you referring to the Abu Dhabi card?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yeah.
I was hoping that wasn't real.
So, well, you know what? Before we get into it, before we even talk about why were you hoping that? Is it because of the Nick and Tony foolishness?
I'm not sure what's worse, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of a toss up, isn't it? Between I mean, with Tony, we kind of know he's going to be in fights that don't make sense because it's Tony. It's just we're going to constantly see him going until he shatters into dust at this point. But with it's the Nick Diaz one, man. It's the Nick Diaz one that I can't really, you know. I just
Yeah.
it's such a strange matchup as well. Like if they put him with Tony Ferguson, which is we actually made a video on it a while that I didn't end up releasing. But if they'd matched him with Tony Ferguson, I'd have been like, all right, it's two completely messed up dudes that are totally
Mhm.
past it, and they can't really hurt each other. So
Yeah.
let them get a payday and then scoot off. But and I know that Luke hasn't looked great lately, but
Mhm.
oh man, I really think Luke is gonna hurt that man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's gonna be bad, especially judging by the way that we saw him. What was it against Robbie Lawler? Like, and Robbie was past it, you know. And we talked about that in the video that we did yesterday about him possibly being gifted that fight against Nico Price. And so he was past it, but still, a fighter. But Nick looks
Mhm.
more like a jujitsu instructor that
Yes.
works part-time at the gym. Like that's what he gives me right now. He should not be in there
That's
against
I
Luke.
think that's being kind of generous. Like I saw a video of him like tottering around the kitchen with nunchucks this morning. It
Oh yeah, I
was
saw that.
You saw that as well. Yeah, that's been doing the rounds on Twitter, and I just felt extra sad. He looks like your uncle's uncle,
Yeah,
just like
he shouldn't be out there.
person. He
So
should
which
not
one
be
do you
out.
feel worse about though? About Nick fighting or Tony fighting?
I can't remember off the top of my head who Tony's fighting. It's at welterweight, right? Oh, it's Chiesa.
Yeah, Michael Chiesa.
Yeah, do you know what? Like Chiesa's not hurting anyone either. So I'm not too sour about that one because I think Tony could look. I mean, I expect Chiesa to win that match, which is very strange to say.
Yeah.
It's a hurtful thing to say about Tony in particular because there was a time when you wouldn't have ever uttered those words.
No.
But I don't think I think he could look okay in the fight. Like, I don't think he's going to completely embarrass himself. Whereas with
Mhm.
Nick, it's like oh my, Luke could really hurt him.
Yeah, and he's gonna try
So
to.
and he's going to try to. He needs a win.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm way more upset about the and like I said, I'm not really, I'm not really a big fan of the Diaz brothers. I don't really get how I've warmed to Nate a little bit more over the years, but nah, uh, I still don't like. Even though I don't even like him, I'm like, this is just sad. This is just sad now. That's how it feels.
Yeah. It's I don't
Well
know.
done for starting. Well done for starting this off on such a sour note, by the way. Bringing the
Yeah.
depressing news in.
You
Yes.
want more good news? So
You might as well continue on.
Dern is fighting. I know how you love her striking. So
Sorry.
who's she fighting? Is she fighting? Is it Loopy?
Oh yeah, that was another one I saw. I mean, again, that one. I'm glad I didn't buy tickets for this card. I know a lot of people are saying that it's a good one. I'm very glad that I didn't bite the bullet
Yeah.
because the way that it's looking now, it looks horrendous. It looks
Yeah.
horrendous.
I mean, they have people who have significant names, but at this point, they have names for the wrong reasons.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot that I don't. The thing is, I haven't mentioned this yet, and I was thinking we might make a video on it at some point. But what baffles me the most about the Diaz and Luque one, it's going to be the co-main event. They've put that as they've given that 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that.
No, I don't get that one. I don't get that at all. 5
And then,
rounds.
and then you're looking at Marlon Vera, who's like, you in a situation where if we want to find out if Figgy's ready for a serious bantamweight run or not, surely that's an opportunity to say, right, you put those two in a 5 rounder.
Yeah.
It makes no fucking sense.
None. No sense at all. Yeah. I feel like I would have rather have seen, this is what you use these fight nights for. Like, you want to get these dudes their last little fights, that's cool. You could even make them the co-main on a fight night if you really felt that way.
Mm-mm.
And do a fight night in California somewhere, and throw them two on it. Like, that would be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna really love to see that, but if anything, them fighting each other, it feels like a more suitable matchup than Chiesa. Like you said, like, he's not gonna just come out there and just throw all kinds of crazy strikes, but
Mm-mm.
he looks like he's a little bit fresher of a fighter than Tony, I would say.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah, yeah.
nice way to say it.
That's a
Nick,
fair assessment.
I don't know why he's doing this, man. His younger brother looks like he's done, and now he wants to get back in there. Like, nah, bro.
You imagine it must be. I mean, after all the years that he missed out on making money, do you know what I mean? I'd assume it has a lot to do with that.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
assume because, like I said, he was obviously shelved for it was a
Super
marijuana
weird.
ban, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
then
that ban
which
was
looks
stupid.
even worse. It looks even worse in hindsight.
That
But
ban was
again,
stupid.
they've kind of been difficult to deal with. The Diaz brothers are not the easiest to negotiate with, and the thing is, yeah, it's kind of proven to be in a good way because they obviously
Mhm.
knew that they were worth more than they were being offered, and they were like, "Nah, I'm not taking that." And everyone called them, "Oh, you're wasting your primes," but they had a point. But
Mhm.
after everything that came, it's weird that the Diaz brothers look like geniuses out of everyone else in this situation, where they were like, "No, they're taking advantage of us financially, and we're not having it." And they were saying it from day one.
Yeah,
So
they were right.
fair play.
They were right. What's up, Mikey? Um, yeah, they were absolutely right, man. But Jesus, I don't want to sit through this. I really don't. But whatever. Yeah, the Abu Dhabi card is not shaping up well, and you're probably good for kind of saving your money on that one because Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean the seats were good. I think it was like $750 for like virtually, virtually front row, which I thought looked all right. And then when you're done paying for flights and whatnot, you're like you're probably a couple grand down. And for this card, I'm like, I'm glad I dodged that bullet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So by comparison, like what do you know what the same seat would cost for UFC 304?
As far as I know, yeah, they have like a pre-sale thing which will be on the 5th of June. And then they go, so like if you're signed up to because it's weird. It's in the arena that it's owned by, it's like called the Co-op Arena.
Oh yeah.
If you sign up for the Co-op app, you can get the pre-sale tickets 2 days before, which is obviously what I've done. I'm gonna assume it's in the region of, I'd assume it's gonna be at least double that. But I think it depends on, again, because of the timing of the event, it'll be interesting to see what their price points are.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously the event doesn't kick off until 11 p.m. And that's very unusual. That's a very unusual thing to happen in the UK, where things go from 11 p.m. until 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So it'll be interesting to see how they compensate for that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Very weird.
Mm.
So let's talk about UFC 302. We talked about a little bit on the video that has yet to be released about good old Dustin Poirier, my boy, and what he plans on doing, shocking the world.
Bro, I can't. These things just come out. I don't mean to react this way. It's just my body just like
Involuntarily.
I can't help but have these sarcastic little like sighs, and do you know what I mean?
That's the very definition of a scoff. That's a scoff.
That was
That's
a scoff, yeah.
So my question is, and y'all throw it in the chat. Specifically, I'm looking at you, Mikey, because I really want to hear what you have to say. What happens if Dustin wins? Like, how? First of all, do you think that he retires if he wins?
Yeah, I think if the moment that Dustin wins, I think the earth would open up and all forms of creatures would come to end us all. That's what I think would be what happens. Of course he doesn't retire if he wins. There's no fucking way. I mean, it worries me. And again, the video that we put out this morning mentions that the very mention of it obviously is very, very disconcerting.
Yeah.
Jesus will come back. Sorry, I just got a glimpse of that at the corner of my eye. The Jesus will come back comment is just thrown me off my game there.
Come on, Mikey. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, it's I honestly think here, and Mikey's posing a good question here. If Poirier beats him, they should not give Islam an immediate rematch. He's taken like an easier fight to begin. I mean, he will get one because you know how that goes.
Yeah.
He shouldn't get one though. I firmly think.
Nah, I don't think he should get one, to be honest. Like, especially,
I know what you're gonna say. I know where you think it's gonna go, and I'm thinking the same thing. But I'm gonna let you cook because I know that you really want to get it out.
I mean, what I would prefer is if Dustin wins, that we already know Max is not technically booked. Not technically, they've talked about it, but he's not technically booked. I want to see Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier for the lightweight championship if Dustin wins. That is what I want to see. I would prefer to see that. Now, if Dustin wins, he has a variety of fights that at his disposal. I feel like if Dustin wins, the Justin Gaethje, you'll hear him pop up immediately because he's got the last win over him. So like Charles Oliveira, he's got a win over him, so he's gonna pop up. But to me, the most impactful, the biggest fight outside of some weird Connor foolishness that I don't even want to entertain is Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier for the lightweight belt. Matter of fact, put both belts on the line, lightweight and BMF. Put them both up.
Might as well.
Yeah,
Might as well.
just throw them
It,
both up.
it will be the first time that they've technically done that where there's
Yeah.
two belts on the line at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we know it's not a real thing, it adds sauce, it adds some hot sauce to the occasion.
Add some see, you're coming on board. I see it. I see you coming on board.
Yeah, I guess that's how it sounds. Not really what I meant, but like it's how it sounds. I get where I get the. Yeah, that I guess that would probably be. It makes the most sense. Like if Poirier does pull off a miracle, I do think this would be. I know we've talked about. This would be the biggest upset, I think, in a very, very, very. What the biggest upset that I can remember. It's bigger than Strickland and Adesanya, in my opinion, which for me is the biggest one in living memory. Because I don't think anyone gave Strickland a hope in hell of that one.
No.
This feels similar or worse, in my opinion. I don't see it.
I have trouble seeing it, even though I'm trying to see it. But I feel like the
it
TJ
would be glorious.
It would be amazing. He said since Modified versus Barber. The TJ Hennon Barral one was pretty epic. Because that wasn't supposed to happen.
No, I mean the longer the time went on, we kind of realized how good TJ was, and it became
how bad,
less.
Not bad,
and
how not good.
Yeah,
Hennon Barral was comparison to the elites. I'll say it that way. He was good.
That's
it's just not as good as we thought.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that padding records thing comes in. Like, was his record padded? You know, kind of like some of these Dagestani people that wander into the UFC.
I think it's definitely fair to say that. I mean, I can't name many people on Barral's. If you spot check me now and ask me who he beat, I probably wouldn't even be able to name one. If I'm being honest.
No, it's tough. It's tough because they're not even real people.
No, it's just it's another NPC situation where
Yeah.
they just they were in the arena on the day and they just pointed to the crowd and said, "Who fancies a go?" And then someone's grandma jumped in, and that was 25-0.
And he beat her. He got the win.
He got the win. You can only be used in front of you.
Yeah.
So
that's the cliche. That's what they say. But yeah. So if he does win, also, how do you think that affects the lightweight division? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I think I know where you're going to go with it, but they don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna just. I am definitely trolling Mikey. Barral was good. I do think he was a good fighter. I will leave that on the table. I'm just kind of trolling a little bit. in terms of the division, like I absolutely and again, I don't like both guys. I would honestly be happy for about 5 minutes if Poirier won, because I do think it's better for the division, because again it just opens up so many matchups, new and old. Whereas I feel like there's a sense of hopelessness with Makhachev as champion. And it is a testament to how good he is.
Yeah.
I just feel like the division is more. I think he's such a cut above everybody else in the division that there's nothing that excites me in it anymore. I feel like everything else coming beneath it is more interesting. Like matchups we get, it feels like the belt is the least exciting aspect of the division, which is what it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be like
true.
that. You should feel like it's leading somewhere, and it doesn't. So.
You know what? It's hard. As you were saying, that made me think of like other times that there were dominant champions in a division. I mean, and dominant is really kind of used loosely a little bit. I do think that Islam is dominant, and I don't see a person that can beat him outside of maybe Armin, maybe, but I don't see anybody that could beat him. But dominant champions often make their division look awful. It makes their division the worst division in the sport a lot of times. When John Jones was on top, the light heavyweight division was trash. When Anderson
Hmm.
Silva was on top, the middleweight division was trash. When
Hmm.
GSP was on top, even the welterweight division, which is typically it has some good fighters in it, it was pretty trash. If John Fitch is the person that y'all are trying to avoid, like, come on now.
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse, trash division. Not because of
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse. I mean, he was beating everybody he could face, but the division is just trash. Like, I can't think of a time that there was a dominant champion and the division was good,
Mm.
universally recognized as good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what Mikey's saying about um, Max Holloway, I think Max Holloway would be the best. This is why I wanted to see that fight after he won the BMF thing. I think it would have made sense because I think of all the contenders there, he's the one who's the most like, he's the one who's potentially the most threatening to Islam because he doesn't, again, not easy to take down, not easy to fuck with on the ground. And you feel like in a striking battle, like, I'm really tired of people talking about how good Islam is standing. He's the thing is it what I think is being misconstrued is like Islam has become a lot more responsible standing. Like he doesn't take as many risks as he used to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the same way that like because obviously he got clipped in the past by leading with an overhand right and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's been a lot more responsible where he uses his kicking game more and he stays at a safer distance a lot more. So he's a lot more responsible striking, but he's still not a good technical striker, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
when
not
you
a
have
terrible striker.
he's not terrible, but when you have the threat of the takedown, it gives you points in the
It
striking.
magnifies. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just that's just what it is. If it were pure striking, like if you take him and say, "Hey, we're going to do a stand up only, stand and bang type of fight," you can use all 8 limbs, but you can't do any takedowns.
Hmm.
He's not light heavyweight. I mean, he's not lightweight champion.
No,
He's
no.
not. It's just not going to happen. But when it comes to Max fighting Islam, I agree that he probably would have had the best chance. I say would have as if it's never going to happen. I mean, it could still happen. I do think
Mm,
that he would have a pretty good chance, and I think it's because he never overcommits on his strikes. He's always striking. He's back in a good position to defend whatever's coming back to him.
mhm,
And you can't say that about the other elites that have fought Islam. Charles Oliveira, he doesn't even mind going down. So you could, just a strong gust of wind will knock him down so you can get to his guard.
mhm,
Um, Justin Gaethje, a lot of times, or at least before, he would, overcommit on his strikes, and that's how he would get taken down. Same thing with Dustin.
mm,
So Max he just doesn't strike like that. That's just not how he fights. So
yeah,
I agree that Max would have a very interesting, interesting fight with him, and it's a fresh matchup in the sense of even though Dustin has not fought Islam before, he fought somebody like him. So we feel like we've already seen this before.
mm.
Max has not fought anybody like that.
No, no, and again, I think we've seen enough from Max to know that, like I said, he is Max is very, very, very well rounded, and I
Mhm.
just think again, it's a new series of problems that it feels like of all the potential matchups that could happen, it's intriguing. But the issue that we've got with lightweight now is it feels like Sarukian's going to be next, regardless of what happens. And that they're kind of pushing Max down the featherweight route a little bit more, which I think is a mistake. I'm not sure what conversations have been had, but I don't
Yeah,
think Max should be. I think he should be leaving featherweight behind.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I definitely, if I were him, I would have campaigned strongly to fight winner. Whoever wins, that's who I want to fight. And I don't know what y'all think in the chat, but is Max versus Taporia that much bigger of a fight?
I don't. I mean, from my standpoint, I mean, the thing is, I'd be happier to see that than seeing an immediate Volk rematch. because again, it's that stylistic thing, isn't it? It's just the it could just be a thing where Volk's style is tailor made for Topuria, whereas you could see potentially Max giving Topuria a lot of problems as well. Because I mean, the thing is, is Topuria going to knock Max's head off? History would tell you no. History would tell you no, which means that Topuria would have to go. And I know we saw Topuria beat the brakes off Emmett in probably one of the most lopsided 5-round fights in featherweight. It was one of, it was max level. It was a max level against Qatar and one or two others. It was that kind of beat. So we know he's got the cardio to some extent, but he had Emmett hurt. Emmett was kind of surviving in that fight for the majority of it. Yeah. Max won't be surviving for 5 rounds. He'll be coming for you the entire time. Yep. And if he jabbing your face off, he's got really good range at featherweight. He does struggle against fighters that are a little bit shorter.
I think that now that he's instituted that spinning back kick, that's going to help a lot, because it's a kick that he can throw at a variety of ranges. He doesn't have to be far away, but he can always use that to present danger while pushing somebody out of his range. If Topuria gets too close, he can use that. He also has really good movement, to his left and to his right. He fights out of both stances. Like, he's got a lot of tools, man, a lot of tools. But it's really how Topuria mixes in the grappling to keep him guessing. But I don't know. I would still rather see.
You see what I'm saying? It's an intriguing matchup. Whereas we feel like with Topuria, with Sarukian. With Sarukian and I mean, Sarukian we're obviously talking about with Islam. We kind of feel like we know how that fight would go. With Topuria, we kind of, most people would be, I personally think, I spoke about this in one of my videos as well. I think that if they do the Volk and Topuria rematch, it's going to be a lot closer this time.
Hope so.
That's what I think is going to go down. Yeah.
For Volk's sake, I mean,
I think it will
get chinned again. That would be so.
Yeah, I think it would be. I think it would be a lot closer. I think it would be very. The way that I mirror it is, I see it going in a similar way to how the Izzy and Whittaker 2 fights went, where Izzy obviously sparked him out in the first fight, and then people were expecting it to happen again in the second fight. And if anything, second fight ended, and people were like, "Did Whittaker win that?" And I can see it going
very, very close.
Similar way. I can see it going up because I know Volk's a bit older and stuff, but like. And Mikey's right, the age thing is very concerning, but I still think I think that whole 4 months was just an error of judgment on his part. I don't know what he was going through, like in his personal life or whatever, but I think taking that Islam fight was very silly. The second Islam fight was very silly. I mean, at the time we were all like, oh, well done, Volk, for jumping in there and saving the card and whatnot. Yeah. But, it was a stupid thing to do. And then to compound matters further, after getting knocked the first KO of your career, to jump in there 4 months later at a lower weight class at 35 years old, when you haven't given yourself time to recover, not just physically, but like emotionally from that as well. Because I can imagine for him, with a fighter of his magnitude that was gunning towards, I could be seen as the greatest ever in the sport, and to be absolutely dismantled like that.
Yeah, embarrassingly.
There's an emotional toll on that as well. And then to go into a fight with Topuria, who has been preparing for you this entire time, while you were messing around with Islam, he was watching tape of you.
Yep.
And preparing for that moment. I just think it was. So I think he's going to be a lot more measured this time. I think the fight will end up happening in September or October. I think they do the Volk rematch. I know we're going off topic a little bit, but it all kind of relates. Yeah. Because it feels like it's like what you said, because of what Max just did with the BMF belt and knocking off the number one contender there, who should have been Justin Gaethje. You feel like the divisions are kind of tied through him.
Yep, they are.
Which is exactly what you predicted.
Yeah. But But we did still answer a lot of the questions that I had about the Dustin thing, and it's really just chaos, which continues what I was saying before about Max. Is I like the chaos that it creates because it creates a variety of exciting matchups that can come out of a lot of different ways the fights end.
Yeah.
With Islam, if he wins, like there's not really an exciting matchup that comes out of this. I mean, if he that's what he's going in there to do, obviously, but he goes in and wins. We already know we're gonna get him against Armin next, and who's excited for that?
Not me. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah.
I'm not excited about it at all.
So yeah, it's unfortunate for Islam, and I'm starting to really agree with you as far as and CJ actually mentioned this previously too, but like Islam is gonna go, he's gonna have to go up at some point because there's not gonna be anything left to do. Like he's not in a situation where he has to run through the top 10. Like his dominance is so imposing in a short span of time. I feel like what what left is there to do at lightweight?
And I think the thing is, I mean, I talk to Mikey about stuff all the time in the background because we talk about MMA almost on a daily basis. Like, and I get why he is somewhat enthusiastic about the Sarukin fight because there is, again, Sarukin did give him his hardest fight, and you feel like the strengths that Sarukin has, there is a potential for it to be a lot closer. It's
Hmm.
just that I feel like the Charles fight, I wasn't part of what the issue is like it almost made me forget how good Charles is because it was a big win. I mean, Charles has beat everyone else. So
Yeah,
for it to even, but for me, it wasn't an overly impressive performance. It was another lay and pray type thing, and that's not something he's going to be able to do against Islam. So it's like, it's probably because on paper it doesn't feel like a very exciting fight.
yeah,
I think people are more focusing on that because Sarukin is definitely a threat, but it's just,
yeah.
it doesn't feel like an exciting fight on paper,
No,
is I think the issue.
like you said, that Islam hasn't exactly been on a tear through lightweight.
He hasn't at all. But the issue is like the guys who are coming up behind are like, so you had Justin Gaethje, who's just been knocked the fuck out. You've got, I mean, you've obviously got Sarukin, who's had some decent wins, but he hasn't exactly been pulling up trees either. Most of the people who are beneath him, beneath Islam now, have either beaten each other or they've already been beaten by Charles or Justin or DP. They've all kind of beaten each other, which is where the lack of excitement comes from.
Yeah, let's look at it. I mean, look, here's lightweight.
You got Gamrot. You've basically got Gamrot. That's it. And no one wants to see that. And I like Gamrot. I'm actually a Gamrot fan. I'm much
Hmm.
higher on Gamrot than a lot of other people are. But no one wants to see that.
Yeah, if you just start going down the list of the fighters, like there's a lot of fighters here that cancel each other out, and are there's a lot of them that are coming off of losses. I mean, he beat him, so he's coming off a loss. He's coming off a loss.
Yep.
He's fighting for the belt.
Hmm.
Um, we just mentioned Gamrot. That's cool.
Hmm.
He's
Fighting at welterweight against,
against a dude that's not ranked.
and he
He's
shouldn't
coming
even
off a
be
loss.
sixth. He shouldn't be sixth.
He
Dariush has
really
been knocked
shouldn't.
out twice.
He
Fiziev's out
shouldn't
for
he
the year.
shouldn't be in the rankings, to be honest. Um Fiziev
Fiziev's
is
out
coming
for
off.
the year.
He
He's
he's coming off an injury and a loss.
Mhm.
Max, I don't even know why he's listed way down here. Moicano's
Yeah.
coming off a win, but look, we're already at 10.
Yeah.
Like,
And I don't think anyone, as much as people like Moicano, nobody gives him a fucking hope in hell of. We know that when Moicano climbs up the ladder and he gets into the top five, he's going to struggle.
yeah,
We already know that with him. I mean, he could potentially be a lot better at lightweight than he was at featherweight because he was a top five featherweight contender at one point, and people forget that.
yeah,
He feels like once he gets to that upper echelon, he's not quite. And I love Moicano,
yeah.
but it's just the lightweight division is in the mud right now. So it kind of feels like what they need to do is they need to get. This is why I hated this fight so much. This is why I hated it, because it was so unnecessary. You should have just waited a month or two, put Sarukian in there, and at least that makes sense. But we're possibly going to be waiting six months for that fight to happen, if it even does. It's the least exciting division in the sport right now, and it does have a lot to do with the fact that Gamrot is the Gamrot got in. Fiziev got injured against Gamrot, didn't he?
Was it him?
Is that right?
Let me see.
I'm sure it was.
I think you're right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, you could feasibly do that fight again, but again, Fiziev is not coming back for he's not back until next year, from what I've heard. It's 2025. Yeah. His shit was fucked up.
Yeah,
like his leg was destroyed.
It was really, really bad.
And again, you can't justify it because again, Fiziev has lost to both Gaethje and Gamrot.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was saying about a lot of canceling out. There's a lot of canceling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just canceling each other out. So a lot of it, I mean, part of it is I've blamed Islam a lot for this, which is a bit unfair because like he is like I said, he's first of all, he's very, very good, and that creates a problem. But the division's a problem as well. We just don't have anyone viable to step up right now. It's just a case of, again, it's and this is why people were so pissed off with Poirier getting repeated shots and Gaethje getting repeated shots, because it just felt like we were doing the same thing over and over again. And it's held up the rest of the division from coming up.
Yeah. No,
But and
I mean,
that's why
that.
But that's why in a way I kind of do respect, and I'm saying this for the first time live on camera, it's like I do respect the fact that I never thought that Benoit Saint Denis was that good, but everyone else did. Like I was saying for a long time, when I saw Benoit get destroyed by Dos Santos, and the fact that he'd only fought 3 relatively decent fighters, but nothing too spectacular, and everyone was going on like he's going to be the next guy, I was like, I don't really believe so. But the fact is, everybody else did, and Poirier took him on when he didn't need to.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, it was the first time that Poirier fought somebody who was coming up, where it was a risk for a long time, because he's either been fighting Gaethje or he's been fighting people in and around the same, So I respect him for that.
Yeah.
So I guess if you didn't get this vibe, for anyone who's listening, the vibe is, what happens if Dustin wins? What happens if Islam wins? Who gives a fuck? Is what comes from that for me.
Yeah, if Dustin wins, then Dustin Max. If Islam wins, Dustin retires. Islam fights Armin. That's and we're even less excited about the lightweight division. So here's another what if. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that to put a stamper on this, Michael was absolutely right. The entire landscape would have looked different if Benoit Saint Denis had have beat Poirier.
That would have changed everything. He might have retired right then.
Yeah. He'd have been gone, and then you could say, well, maybe Benoit's a threat to Islam. I mean, none of us in the know would have believed it, but it still would have been, oh, well, he beat Poirier, though. So, but he has to go and get starched. And we're just back to square one.
Embarrassingly. All right, so I got another what if question, and this is for another underdog, but I want to know, what if Paulo Costa wins? Now, this one is one that's a little bit more realistic to most people. Paulo Costa looked pretty good in that loss against Robert Whittaker, but I thought that he looked maybe the best that he's ever looked. But what if he does win against Sean Strickland? Like, how does that affect the championship picture, the rankings, the matchups, all that?
Yeah, I've given this one a little bit of thought. It's a bit confusing because, in a way, this kind of mirrors the situation of, when Strickland lost to Cannonier
Mm-hmm.
and then he found himself in a title fight a couple of fights later. It kind of mirrors that situation in a little way, because the weird thing is, obviously, if we've spoken about ranking situations a lot. On paper, Strickland's ranked number 1. And I think Paulo Costa's ranked. I don't know how Paulo Costa's ranked 6th or whatever it is. I think he's fairly.
Let's
Where is
see.
he?
7.
7. I don't even know how he's ranked 7th. It's a bit strange. It's a bit of
Yeah,
a strange one.
it is kind of strange.
But at the same time, again, it's opportunistic. It's an opportunistic time. If Paulo Costa can beat Sean Strickland, he's number 1 ranked. That's it. The question is, do you give him a title shot? I don't know about that, which is what makes it a bit weird. But I'd personally rather see him get a title shot than Adesanya, who's lost 2 title fights in 3. I'm
Paulo
going to be
Costa's
alone on an
last
island
win.
in that one.
Paulo Costa's last win was Luke Rockhold, by the way.
Luke Rockhold. Yeah, I know that. I know. But the thing is, it's like, again, what have you done for me lately? Like, if Paulo Costa showed great improvements against. I mean, the rightful thing is that Whitaker, the winner of Whitaker and Chimaev, should be getting the next title shot. It shouldn't be Adesanya. Or if Strickland soundly beats Paulo Costa, you can make a case for him as well, because it was literally a razor thin. The fight with Dricus, who's obviously the current champion now, could not have been more razor close.
Yeah.
I personally, I think if things were just, I think what would be preferable is if Strickland wins, he should be next for a title shot. He just should be, in my opinion. If Paulo wins, you probably need to give him one more. You could either do a rematch of like Vettori, maybe who he lost to, or you could do Brandon Allen, him and Brandon Allen.
Ugh. Yeah.
I don't think he'll get vote, but I mean, Paulo's a relatively big star as well, so maybe he would, just off the back of that, get a chance. I don't know. It's all a bit messy right now, but I think the Chimaev and Whitaker one is the one they're looking at. By the way, have you seen how Chimaev's been looking lately, body wise?
Huge.
He looks massive.
He does look massive. Welterweight is not happening ever again.
No.
I think if Paulo Costa beats Sean Strickland, technically you beat the number 1 ranked contender. So technically, maybe you should get a
probably
title.
should. He probably should, because I mean, if Adesanya's possible to get it next, like, you beat the guy who beat the guy.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter what came before. You could say, look, well, he's come over, he's improved enough where he's now beating the guy who's number 1. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. I don't think
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at it. But so
Costa and Dricus would be a great fight.
That would be very interesting. Dricus is going to take him down. He's going to have to. Not to say that he can't strike with him. He can. He can definitely strike with him. But I feel like the Dricus is going to take the path of least resistance and just take him down. But it's kind of playing out very similar to what I thought was going to happen. I thought that Israel, after he lost to Strickland, was going to take some time away, let things play out again, and step right back into a title shot. I figured that's the way it was going to happen, and that's what's going to happen. And for me, I don't have a problem with that, considering what he did for the division. I feel like he gets that one. He gets that one. He doesn't get to do it twice, but he gets the one. For Sean, if Sean wins, I do think that he should probably fight winner. Like, because that fight was so close, like you mentioned, against DDP, and he already has a win over Izzy. So no matter who wins, he has a reasonable thought that he can beat either one of those guys, and the public also, can get along that line of thinking. So I think that that's easy plug and play. He fights the winner. For Whitaker and Chimaev, if Chimaev wins, then he's basically just waiting for that to play out and fights whoever wins because he can't fight in the United States anyway. So they're gonna have to wait for that to play out so he can fight overseas. So
Yeah.
if Whitaker wins, that makes things a little bit more weird because he has lost to DDP, he's lost to Izzy. He does have a win over Sean, so he's kind of rooting for Sean to get
Yeah, I
this
bet
whole
he
thing
is.
done. Yeah. And then the dark horse in this whole thing is Jared Cannonier. If he goes out and starches Imavov, like he's the
Mhm,
one that has to win with style points. If he goes
mhm.
out and starches Imavov, now he could throw his hat in the ring. And if things fall kind of weird, timing is weird, somebody's hurt, they need to put a card together, and he can be like, I'm available. He can get a title shot. To me, those are the only ones that even have a play in this. Outside shot is Paulo Costa, but he has to like really do some work against Sean Strickland to get it done.
Yeah.
But he's the one that has the biggest name outside of Izzy to me
He
in
does.
the division. I mean, maybe Sean Strickland, the insurgents and backwoods people probably love him, but like when it comes to Paulo Costa, he's kind of universal because of his personality. I think that the UFC would probably give him a title shot over Sean if it came down
Yeah.
to something like that. But if he beats him, then he negates that argument. So
Yeah. Do you know what I think is more likely to me though? I think if Cannonier starches Imavov and Strickland beats Paulo Costa, it's more likely that they do a Strickland and Cannonier rematch because they don't want Strickland anywhere near the belt. And I think they're going to dick him around. I know what I think should happen, but it's probably what they'll do, especially if Strickland doesn't destroy Costa. If he goes to 5 rounds, for example, and he wins by decision, which I think is probably the most likely outcome in that. Though if I'm looking at how the fight ends, I would say he either beats him by exhaustion towards the end of the fight or he wins by decision. And it doesn't really do much for him in terms of because it's like we've talked about this quite at nauseum. It feels like, but with Strickland, them having him as the champion was never part of the plan.
no,
They threw him in there with Izzy, thinking we'll get Izzy another notch. It'll be a nice, easy defense, and then they can set things up with a Dricus or a, I suppose they're mainly looking at either Dricus or Chimaev down the line,
hmm
and it threw a spanner into all those works. Like, and then they ended up obviously doing the Dricus. So they've clearly thrown Dricus at they've clearly threw Dricus at him in the hopes that all right, we get Dricus to win, and then we can still redirect the situation towards Dricus and Adesanya, which is what they're going to end up getting, it seems. But I think more likely they're going to the company does not like Sean Strickland. It's very, very clear. Because you can have champions that are not fit, they're not particularly marketable or whatever. But what's really bad about the situation with Sean Strickland is he goes against everything that Disney, Endeavor, all those that they all stand for in terms
yeah,
of his anti-woke comments and all that kind of stuff. Like he is a direct like opposition to what their values are in that regard.
yeah, true.
So yeah, I think even the fact that this fight is being made is testament to that. I mean, why is he fighting number 7 after he just had literally the most controversial? And Mikey's gonna beat that drum until it explodes. Um, like I get and again, I'm with Mikey in the sense of like I think that you can make a case that Strickland won the fight, but I don't think it was a robbery because I thought Dricus won the fight. But when those scorecards were read out, I was like, oh, I don't know. Like if they'd raised, I know it's something we've talked about again at length as well. But if they'd raised Strickland's hand that night, I wouldn't have been like, "What the fuck,"
No,
you know. But I didn't say
yeah,
"What the fuck" when Dricus had his hand raised either. Was just so I think Screwjob Mikey is a little bit of a stretch, but
yeah. I mean,
um,
I thought that Strickland won. Now I haven't gone back to watch the fight though, but in the moment, I thought that Strickland won. But when they announced DDP, I wasn't just like, oh my God, let me throw my TV controller at the television or nothing like that. Like, I was like,
I love
well,
the tomato truck comment. It's so specific.
um, but
Yeah.
it wasn't that wild to me. It was a close fight, and I think that they should do it again. I
If
hope that
if
they do it
all if
again.
all was right in the world, it would be. But I can see where this is going now. I think, like I said, it will be. They'll do Strickland and Cannonier again, assuming Cannonier beats Imavov, which isn't going to be too easy.
No, that dude's good.
He's
That
good.
dude is good.
Imavov's good.
He's
So,
good.
but like I said, in middleweight, even though middleweight's a little bit of a clusterfuck, at least there's some fun matchups within that clusterfuck. And like I said, even though we know how biased I am about Izzy, I just hate him.
Yeah.
So it's like, but then the same part of me is like, well, exactly what you brought up for what he's done for the division and how active he was. He probably does deserve it. He had a lot of title defenses as well.
Hmm.
He probably does deserve it. And the fact that he did get a win over Alex Pereira is looking even better now,
Yeah.
considering
It's
what that
looking
monster's
real
got
good.
to do.
Real good. I
So
mean, you look at the rankings and look at these divisions. It's hard to find a division that doesn't have some issues.
definitely,
Um, I
definitely.
mean, maybe welterweight doesn't, but
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
because we're getting Leon and Bilal now, it feels like, you know, things are where they should be. But it all depends on what happens with Shavkat, and because I mean, you saw what happened with JDM recently. He looks fucking. He's not fighting in Perth now. Did you see
nope.
the thing with him? Yeah, the
Hmm.
injury he got with the infection he got to his bone or whatever it was. That looked fucking disgusting. By the way, I was eating at the time, and let's just say I didn't finish what I was eating. I'll put it that way.
Man, I know a man who called him out though. I know a man who called out Shafkat.
Yeah, Shavkat would fucking destroy Buckley's.
Ooh,
But
that would be
I'm
bad.
finding it very, very, very hard to. And again, I enjoy Buckley, but he's lost his fucking marbles these last few. He's talking some wild shit.
Yeah,
He's
he's
tried
confident.
everything. He's confident.
He's confident.
Shavkat would fuck
Um,
him up, I think. But
yeah, I don't think that fight would be particularly close at all.
it's not
Um,
impossible.
I don't
Like I
think that
said,
this dude
we've
should,
got
I don't
Gary.
think that Colby Covington should be ranked either.
No, no, he should be gone. It would be so great if we got like a conclusive. I mean, I'm not the biggest Ian Gary fan, but it would be really great if we got like a conclusive winner of that and MVP as well.
Yeah, it would. And I personally hope that Michael Venom Page knocks him out, like
That would be
of
ideal.
the cage,
Of
clean.
the cage
Just
and out of existence, maybe
yeah,
even out of.
that would be
That'd be good.
amazing. I think Ian Gary is probably one of the few people in the UFC that I just really, really dislike.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I really don't like that
Every
dude.
time I hear him talk, I feel physically unwell. He's just such a fucking tool.
Yeah.
Even if he says there's something about the guy. He's so obnoxious. Like even when he says something, "Oh, honey, I'm gonna go get some milk from the store," you're just like, "Shut the fuck up." Do you know what I mean? There's something about the guy when he speaks. He's just an annoying cunt.
I just don't
Give
like
my
the man.
language.
Yeah. So hopefully he loses
Straight twat. Yeah, straight twat.
repeatedly. I hope he loses repeatedly.
Yeah,
And goes to Bellator and loses even more. That would be great.
that'd be great.
Um, all right. So another question for you. And before I even say that, like we got a decent amount of people in here. Make sure y'all are sharing it on your socials and stuff like that. You know, we're gonna do um a live chat for 302.
Hmm.
Um, Frankie is not going to be getting drunk this time, is what he said.
No, no, I'm doing a DP on this one, and I'm retiring from the heavy drinking game live on stream. It's not so. The thing is, yeah, I find it's more fun for me when I get absolutely plastered, but just from a health standpoint, I'm like, yeah, I have to realize I'm old now, and I need to fix up. So I might get. We talked about this as well. I might get a few beers down me, but I'm not gonna be necking a liter of raw alcohol in 90 minutes.
Yeah, you did go hard.
Why didn't someone tell me that wasn't a good idea? There was
I
no
well
one to tell
you
me.
said you said that you were a warrior like so
I,
many
re-
times, and I was like, well,
I need to clip that up. I need to clip that up and put that out there at some point. Just me shouting, "I'm a warrior," and falling all over the place.
man, I was concerned, man, because like you were gone,
Oh God.
and I was like, wait, what happened to him? Did he make it? Like, did he just fall over and just pull the house on top of him? Like, what happened?
That was the night that I
That was
disappeared,
so
wasn't it?
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No,
so
it was just it was a bit of a family emergency. But I don't blame you for thinking that. Fortunately, I'm only on the first floor here, so it would have been maybe a broken leg or something. Nothing too nothing too final. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that was a hell of. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I wouldn't mind again. Yeah, Mikey, I haven't smoked weed since I was probably 24 or 23 years old. It's very hard to get in these parts. Still illegal around here.
yeah,
We haven't quite got with the times yet.
it's technically legal, kind of. It's decriminalized around
Mm.
here, but yeah, no, I mean, I haven't smoked since Monday.
Monday, what's going on, man? God damn.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. It's been a while, but you know, we're trying to shape up around here. Um, so yeah. Anyway, make sure y'all jump on
Um,
Saturday. We're gonna be on this thing.
I think Mikey might be joining us for at least parts of that as well.
Yeah.
He's got his rig set up and everything, so
Oh yeah, yeah. He was telling me. Yeah,
we're gonna
that
get
would be
Mikey
great.
on board as well. It's not so much that it's hard to get Mikey, it's hard to get good quality weed. It's basically like, you shake it and sand is falling off.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? Anything to make it weigh more,
that's
from what I
gross.
understand is how it works.
This is
So
disrespectful.
it's very disrespectful to my lungs as well. Not a one.
I had two more
Yeah.
questions that I was going to ask. Um, one of which I'm gonna ask this one first because I feel like this is going to be a very short one. Um, do we care about Jalton Almeida at all? Like, does he even matter?
I care about him getting further fraud checks, if that counts if that counts in the same way. The thing is though, it's like the again, it's those difficult situation things, because I'm not. I'd like Romanov to. It would be great. I'm going to look out to see what Romanov looks like on the scale, because I'm hoping in the time that he's had off, he's put the chocolate eclairs down, and he's like, taking his conditioning, because I still have some kind of faith that if this guy had some cardio, he could be a problem at heavyweight. Not in the
Mhm.
top 5, but it's what we spoke about before. Like when you haven't got like outright, because heavyweights are basically from 5 downwards, it's basically brawlers. You've got like heavy hitters that aren't particularly skilled.
Mhm.
I mean, you've got like Mikey brings up Tybura, who I do think is relatively skilled as well compared to everyone else who's below. But I think Romanov, when he's got his full cardio, he's dangerous. Because his Greco-Roman wrestling style is good. But just look at that mess of a division right there.
Yeah, like
It's horrible.
he's him.
Yeah.
Then there's the rightful heavyweight champion.
The real champion. Yeah.
Yeah, the movie
The
star.
movie star, yeah. I was just gonna say the same.
He's legit. He's legit. He's legit.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
old.
Old. The
We'll
thing
skip
is,
him.
we kind of need Jolton to be good, because there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind
Um,
of hope that Romanov comes out looking a little bit more svelte and fucks him up. Because then he can jump to number 7, and we can say, oh, well, if he's got a little bit of cardio about him, he's not a very good striker, but he's got a distinct skill set that could be a problem. He's a massive, massive guy
mhm.
who's young that can wrestle very well. Could be a problem.
Yeah. This is
We
another.
need a clear starching.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is
Ty,
another division that is in disarray. Like, but at least they have some young blood. If he would just get in the cage, that would be great. but
Mm,
at least we have some, at least young for heavyweight. We have some young blood up here. Taito Ivasa is not going anywhere. He's one dimensional, but he's not going there, and he's very entertaining. He's just going
yeah.
to replace him because they're the same person, just
By the way,
different shades.
just as a quick side thing, while we're talking about Jones, you know, obviously with Rampage coming out and saying that there's stuff about John Jones that's going to come out. What do you think that is? Just out of curiosity.
Gay. I mean, I don't.
You think
That's the only.
you
That's
think
the
he's
only
you
thing I
think
could
he's
think
just
of.
gonna you think he's just gonna you think it's gonna be that?
That's
Just
the
the
only thing I
oh
could think of. I mean, what else is there that?
the only thing that people are talking about or care about. They no longer care about him as a fighter. They're like, how many dicks has he had this week? That's really the what's on the end of everyone's thinking.
On the tip of everybody's tongue.
Can I be real? Yeah, like John Jones being gay, if anything, to me makes him even more dangerous. I don't want to get into a funny one here, but I think anyone that can play that kind of game, you know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever read a rectal exam or anything, but like that's a painful situation that I've never ever got over.
That's a
If
game
you
we don't want
if
to
you got a
play.
man who goes out on Saturday to do that for fun, you don't want to be fucking with that man in a cage. Do you know what I mean?
Nah. You
Nah,
don't.
nah.
But I mean, there's a whole lot of endorsements he could get if he does come out. You know, if he does embrace it.
If he comes out and embraces it, it's gonna be like he is going to make some bank. He's gonna make some
Oh
woke
boy,
bank like you wouldn't believe.
it's going to be insane the amount of money he would make. I mean, it's probably in his best interest. Go ahead.
Might as well.
You know.
Because everyone thinks you are anyway. You might as well, even if you're not, you might as well just come out and say you are.
Oh my
Go
goodness.
for it.
But yeah, that division it's super top heavy, but yeah, after you get past, you know, the firemen, like after that, everybody else is one dimensional. Like all of them are one dimensional.
But while we're doing a what if question, you know, because we've thrown some pretty absurd ones out there. I mean, if we're gonna say what if Dustin Poirier wins, which is pretty absurd, what if Stipe Miocic beats Jones?
Yeah.
Is that as crazy as Poirier beating Makhachev, or is it? I'd say it's on par. I give Stipe a better chance against Jones than I give DP against Makhachev, if I'm being honest.
I do too. But the reason I do that, a lot of it has to do with age and inactivity. For both, I mean, for John specifically, but Stipe is kind of used to the inactivity at this point. Like he's used to getting ramped up to go back in there. But if he does win, if he beats John, I think that that actually makes things a little bit cleaner. Because so Stipe beats John, and both of them retire, and then
No,
Tom.
no, 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 no. But this is what I'm saying though. It's like that is not how it would go down though, would it?
You think that Stipe will fight Tom?
What's good, Northwest? How you doing, bro? I think that if Stipe beats Jones, Jones is not going to retire,
Mm,
and we might even get a rematch. That's the issue that I have. If Stipe wins, it might actually
mess it up.
fuck Tom Aspinall over even more. That's my worry, man.
That would be awful. That would be awful. I think it
By
needs to
the
be
way,
in.
can I give a quick shout out to anyone? If
Oh yeah,
anyone is here who's Northwest is somebody who subscribed to me recently, and I've been looking through a lot of the videos on his channel. Very entertaining shit. So if you're somebody who's not subscribed or looking for somebody who has a good variety of content as well, check out Northwest 425.
that's what's up.
Subscribe to that channel. Yeah,
Matter
very
of fact,
recent discovery I had. There's a lot of interesting shit on there. I've been kind of slowly going through the videos over the last couple of days. So I just want to give you a shout out as well.
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know if I'm subscribed to him. Let me see.
Yeah, there's
I will. I will
there's
sub.
quite the interesting variety of stuff on there. I'm
That's
just
what's
a
up.
homeless dude with a phone. Well, I love it. keep what you're doing. Keep up what you're doing, bro. And I'm happy to give you a shout out anytime because I've been very entertained on what I've seen, for sure.
There it is. Shot you a sub. So yeah, if Stipe were to win, I don't know. I can't see. I feel like Stipe's wife is going to make him retire, and then so now the belt will be up for grabs. And I don't know. I don't know what they would do. It would be a mess if that were to happen.
It's in everyone. As funny as it would be to see John Jones get fucking flatlined, and it would be hilarious because he's a cock, and obviously he loves him. But there's also the like. I just think it would be better if he beats Stipe, and then either does the right thing and calls out Aspinall on the spot, which we know he's not going to do, or just fucks off. But either way, I just think we need to draw a close to that because I don't want any further shenanigans because there's no way he retires if Stipe knocks his ass out. There's no way he goes out like that.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't. You're right about that. You are right. That would be weird for him to do that based on what we know of John Jones. I don't know. Are you hoping that Stipe wins or are you hoping that John wins?
I want Stipe to win just because of how ball achingly funny it would be. Because I think John Jones is an asshole. It's a real shame as well that not a lot of people have seen that video we did on who we wanted to see flatline this year. Because I thought I nailed that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Got about 50 views that one, which was real disappointing because I cooked that day. It was real good.
Yeah,
but I think Northwest is right. I think John Jones probably beats him convincingly, and then just says, "It's been a great time in the sport. I've done everything I was supposed to achieve," while everyone's booing, and he just ignores it. And then he just says, "Oh yeah, I'm retired." Or he might do "Well, we'll see what happens," and blah blah blah, and then he just digs things out for another 8 months. He might torture Tom even more. I think that's what he might do. I think that's what he does. I don't think he retires on the spot. I think he just goes, "I'm going to talk to my wife, blah, 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 all this bullshit." And then we get him fucking around for another. Because the thing with him and Tom seems personal now as well. I can't imagine him just being like, "I'm leaving." Either.
Mm-hmm.
But again, at the same time, I don't think he fights Tom.
I don't think that we ever see that fight.
But then he might just drag it out for longer. Because technically, if he wins, Tom will get stripped to the interim. And then if he just says, "Well, I'm going to consider my options and blah, blah," and then he just sits on us for 7 months, 8 months, it slows Tom's career down again. Do you know? And he's a big enough prick to do that.
So do you think that what if Curtis Blades beats Tom Aspinall?
John Jones will call him out instantly right off the fight. That'd be the first thing he does. The first thing they say when they stick the mic in his face.
Curtis Blades.
Curtis Blades. This is literally what he's gonna do.
Oh my goodness.
Tyano's turned up as well. Tyano is another guy who he doesn't make MMA content. He's a big MMA fan, but he's a supporter of my my football team and he's another guy that has a really great channel. Fantastic channel. It's all you guys call it soccer. We know it's fucking football. But Tyano's another guy that has a really great channel. I go to him for all my updates on what's happening with my team in terms of the transfers and any business that's going around them. He's another guy it's just amazing. That's what I'm saying. Like, the reason why I bring this up is the space, man. Being part of this space, the amount of people that you meet on here that are just really good content creators, and just it's been amazing. So I just need, these people deserve shout outs. Even if you're not a football fan, like I said, jump on. These guys are doing really well. And I appreciate having them as people who come to visit the channel.
Mass, what's up?
Mass is in as well. God damn.
I just shot Tyno. I just shot you a sub.
Yeah, Tyno's my guy.
Yeah, because I don't. It's kind of hard to watch sometimes. Some of the soccer. I'll call it soccer. The soccer that's played because of the time, because we don't get the advertising to remind us, so it'll go on at a time that we're like not expecting it. So we're like,
Mm,
what? Oh, is
that's
this?
good, Dustin.
Yeah, that
All
messes
the
us up.
guys are turning up now. We've got the boys here now.
Yep, yep. Man, y'all missed
Yeah, so that's how I see that going.
y'all missed a lot of talk about Dustin Poirier, man. About how we think that he's going to win and what it's going to mean for his career and how
I
he
think I, wa- I
influences
think
the
I was
sport.
I think I was very tame. I think I was quite nice about the whole situation, considering how much I think the guy's a fucking simp.
He
I
adores
hate
him.
this. I hate pretty much this entire card. I'm gonna be real. I just do. Obviously I'm gonna watch it because I'm a simp too. I like. I'm, it's. I'm not too. I'm not too. Yeah. The thing is, yeah, with our channels, we do seem to get a lot of lurkers, people who kind of sit in and they're just shy to. They're just shy to get. This is the perfect place to talk shit.
Hmm. Yeah, we accept all the
Right
shit
place
talking.
to
It's
go
cool.
to.
It's cool. It's cool. All
100.
right. So, um, last thing I'm gonna ask about, and of course, y'all can drop questions or whatever y'all want to talk about in the comments or whatnot. But
Please do.
parlays.
Oh yeah. Now this is something that I'd really want people to get, because I'm always doing it. When I used to do breakdown videos on the channel, it was something that kind of got going for a little while, where people would throw parlays in, and it's something that I think as part of the community we should be doing more, because I'm in this card in particular. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I'm just gonna have a little look now at what we've got. So I think the way that I like to do it is, I like to, obviously, because I don't like fucking with people's money, because I fuck with my own money enough. Um, I think in terms of like locks, the odds on Basil Hafez have been going. See, he was a minus 180 at opening, and now he's minus 400. So I'm feeling particularly confident about that one. I think Alex Morono is going to get revenge on Nico Price, the same
Mm-hmm.
guy who took a dive against. What do you guys think about that, by the way? Um, the fight with Nico Price and Robbie Lawler. That was a he 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 laid down. It was the old finger poke and down you go. That's what it felt like to me.
It was odd. I say that.
Arturo, I appreciate the love, man. Really, like when you turned up on my subscriber list, I was amped because I love your channel. Just gonna throw that out there. Yeah, yeah. So I think Nico Price is gonna get bonged out, and I hope he doesn't, because, like I said, the guy's got, how many kids has he got? He's probably had 5 more kids since he got knocked out by that guy. That guy's sperm is incredible. He's got the best sperm in the game, Nico Price.
He does. It'll
I feel like he hits the
go through
target every time he
walls.
nuts. Like, yeah, yeah.
Go through walls, man. That dude.
He needs to be studied. In case
Is it one woman? Like, is it, or is he spreading the seed?
the thing is, it's weird, bro. Because I don't know. Like, I think he's got like 7 kids or something, and I mean, he's not that old, so you'd assume it's more than one, but you know, it may not be.
I don't
Someone
know.
needs. We need to get a. I'm curious now. I need to find that out.
I am looking
Um,
it up.
this is the kind of thing we do around here. Just
It's gotta
like we're
be out
talking
here.
about people's sperm and dicks, and it wouldn't be a live stream with Frankie and Jax without some kind of homoerotic edge to it.
He's got 6 kids with the same woman.
Fair play. Fair play to him.
But you
Yeah,
never know.
Nico's record is lame. It's fucking lame, because, like, I mean, it's weird because he's got some good wins along the way as well. He's beaten people that he shouldn't, and he's lost to people that he shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre one with him. It's a bizarre one.
But I
I'll be
do
so
think that
sad.
he's talented. I think that he's talented and he's awkward, which helps. But Um,
I'll be so
the
sad if Dustin goes out on a loss to that goat fucker. This is why Western is another like. These are the kind of subscribers we've been gathering for a little while. It's just like
hmm
mirroring our personalities. I would love to have Western on here one time as well.
yeah,
Western
for
and Mikey
sure.
are just my guys, man.
hmm
Just based and bit fucked up.
Yeah, Western's dope. Um,
Yeah, so I think Nico Price. I would like him to win because he has many kids, and as a father myself, I don't want to see his kids starve, and he needs a win.
he does need one.
He needs a win because that last thing, I'm sure they paid him very much under the table for that little dive he took in the last one. He probably got his win bonus for that.
38 seconds.
I've watched it a couple times because you can watch it. You can watch it 40 or 50 times in the time it takes to finish a bowl of cereal. And I just think he took a dive. I think he took a dive. He went down way too easily.
He
But
did.
anyway, regardless of that, I hope he wins because the thing is, I like him. I like Alex Morono as well. But he's a part timer. He kind of does this as I think he's a coach, right?
I think
And
so. Yeah.
he kind of jumps in and does fights when the mood strikes him. I feel like for Nico, he's got nothing else really going for him. He needs a win.
Man, I
So I
didn't know
like
that the original fight with Alex Morono was actually overturned because Nico I don't even want to say popped, but like
was it a wee
marijuana,
shit? Oh
yeah,
fuck, that doesn't
marijuana was
help.
in this. I was like, that's not
We've all been high, man. That doesn't help.
the
That
dude
doesn't.
that
If
probably
anything, you should
conducted
get
the
a
test
double.
was.
If you can go in there having smoked a bit a couple of days before and still win, you're a legend in my book. I remember when I was smoking back in the day, I wouldn't even be able to get off the couch. So to be able to get into a fucking cage and knock someone's head off,
Yeah.
maximum credit. Maximum credit. I didn't know that was overturned as well, but it was a good. And the thing is, Morono was beating him up for the majority of that fight as well, and he just got caught.
hmm
So I think he's
Yeah.
good to go. One fight that I'm looking at in particular as well that may be good money wise is the Kopilov and Almeida fight. I think Almeida's being way too valued here. He's the favorite.
Yeah, he is.
He's the favorite, and he's all he's beaten is Dennis Bazooka. Is not Dennis Bazooka? What's that guy's name? Dennis Bazooka's in a completely different division. Um, the guy so on. Hang on.
Let's
It
see.
was a wrestler, a guy with a ponytail. Dylan Budka. You can see how I
Oh yeah.
fucked that up. And Dylan Budka was wrestle fucking him for 7.5 minutes pretty much, and then gassed himself out, and then just he was exhausted and got finished. I don't think Cesar Almeida has proven anything yet to be a favorite against Roman Kopilov.
Yeah, it's a
Weird one.
weird odds on that one.
This really, but again, it's amazing how people's stocks drop. It was, I mean, you remember Dustin Poirier was a plus 200 underdog against Benoit Saint Denis,
hmm
which I was very happy about. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I think I was awake at 3 o'clock in the morning when that popped up, and I messaged you instantly. You're like, what the fuck? Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I thought those odds were
I was like, get your wallets out immediately.
a bit ridiculous.
And I feel the same way about Roman Kopilov here. I think he's gonna do the biz.
Let me share
I
this
think I
thing.
think it's slight. I mean, it's a fairly pick'em odds, but like Roman Kopilov should be like a minus 200 in my opinion in this one. See, he's plus 100, right? Is that
hmm
correct?
Yep.
Wild to me. That's wild to me. Some people, and I mean, you mentioned it when we did the breakdown on your channel yesterday. I don't know if that video hasn't gone up yet. I don't know if I should do any spoilers for that.
Oh, you
So
can go ahead.
yeah, you mentioned that Romanov may be a live dog as well.
Yeah, I
Because
think so.
at what is he? He's plus 200 or something, right? Plus 245, something like that.
Yeah, plus 240.
Plus 240. Yeah, bloody hell. Jolton Almeida is a small guy, and Romanov is massive. I'm going to be looking. I think the scale, looking at these guys on the scale, is going to be very interesting this weekend. I think if Romanov looks like he's put a little bit more time into his conditioning, that could be interesting. I might have a slight eyeball on that one. And the Kevin Holland and Mikhail Oleksiejczuk one as well, I think is bananas.
Yeah.
I think it's
235. That's plus 235 for
that's value right there for me.
yeah.
That really is. I'm not even saying he's necessarily going to win, but because those odds are so, I thought it was going to be much closer. I thought they'd give Holland a slight favorite. It would be very similar to the way I thought it'd be similar to the way the what do you call it? Kopylov and Almeida odds look.
Oh yeah.
I thought it'd be similar to that. Yeah. I thought they'd have Oleksiejczuk as a plus 100, plus 125, that kind of thing. So yeah,
I didn't realize that. Gosh, that's interesting.
there's
Parlay.
money to be made if you've got some balls.
Yeah.
And I know Mikey in particular is somebody who likes an underdog. He likes to take some. If you're gonna bet, if you're an underdog gambler, this might be the card for you because there's some fucking mental ones on this one. I like Oleksiejczuk as a also Aleski dos Santos is another one I need to mention.
Mm-hmm.
He's a heavy underdog as well against Randy Brown, who, I know Randy Brown's got the range, and I get why Randy Brown is the favorite, I guess, based on recent performances, but I'm not convinced by him either.
So give me a three fighter underdog parlay.
If I'm for the underdogs, I would do Kopylov as one. I would do Aleski dos Santos, and I would do Mikhail Oleksiejczuk as a free. If you're a strictly underdog person, I would go with those three as a wild. I wouldn't put Romanov on there because he's fat and a mess. And I think that Almeida, there's a possibility that Almeida could find a way to take him down and then just sit on him. And if those two, if they're wrestling it out for the first round, Romanov's going to gas out.
Yeah, true.
I don't see Almeida finishing him necessarily. He could, but I don't love that one. Of all the underdogs, he's probably the one that I'm not too much in favor of. But I think with Kopylov, Dos Santos, and Oleksiejczuk, I could see a world where they all win. And I might stick a cheeky. What odds would I get on those three? Let's see. So we've got Oleksiejczuk, Dos Santos, Kopylov. Yeah, it's minus 1,200. Sorry, plus 1,200 for those three.
Yeah, plus
1,300.
That might be worth it. That might be worth it right there.
I might have to stick a little $25 on that.
Yeah.
Which would pull in $25 would get you 400.
Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play that one. See what happens.
Yeah, I like that. I know you're not much of a gambling guy, but you're on this one today, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're down for it. I know you're gonna stick a few pennies on Poirier. Cushion pennies on Poirier.
Got to, just in case.
Yeah.
I mean, those type of underdogs that is just too far fetched. It's like, well, those are the right ones to just throw a little bit of money on, just
smidgen,
just in case the magic happens.
I know that's your boy anyway. I know you'd bet on him if he was fighting a fucking gorilla. So
pretty much, yeah.
So fair play.
Put some hot sauce in the gorilla's eyes, and
you know me. I don't value loyalty at all. I'm a snake in the grass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not, but when it comes to this,
I put that out there. When it comes to this stuff, yeah, I am. Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, man. We did a cool about an hour and a half. Like I said at the beginning, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, all of our stuff.
And a quick reminder as well, we are going to do a live stream we haven't done a live stream since 301. We are going to do a live stream for 302.
Yep.
That's the plan.
So any of y'all that haven't subscribed to Bad MMA Math, make sure you do that. Anybody that hasn't subscribed to Making the Walk, make sure you do that. And yeah, we got some videos, a bunch of stuff coming out this week. So be on the lookout. Make sure you turn your notification bells on, because I know some of y'all don't get some of them for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah,
YouTube is messed up.
Mikey's had trouble with his. I know that. I have had a few messages from people on Twitter saying, "You haven't been very active lately." And I'm like, "Nah, I've had a video out almost every day." So it's
Yeah.
like, it's funny. There must be something going on for sure. But
Oh,
some
no.
people are getting them and some people aren't. So I don't even think it's my channel.
YouTube is holding us back.
Yeah, they see this. They're trying to hold that star down. You know, we're just, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, whatever. But
I appreciate to everyone who turned up. It was really good at the end there. If we could get more of you in at the beginning, that would be fucking sweet next time.
yep.
It really started to cook towards the end there. But great to have everyone who turned up, and I appreciate every single one of you, new and old.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Till next time.
In a bit, guys.